This is my twin-turbo LS3 swapped four-wheel drive drag truck that I've been building over the last 3 years. And today is the day we're going to try to fire it up for the very first time. This project started back in 2022 when I decided I wanted to convert my two-wheel drive big block Silverado over to four-wheel drive, which meant I'd need a new frame. So I grabbed one from my local junkyard. I built my own coilover front suspension, installed a bulletproof rear axle, and a rear-mounted fuel tank. But somewhere along the way, things got a little out of hand, and that frame swap turned into a complete truck build all of its own. I found a cab on Marketplace that was in pretty good shape, and a little while later I bought another donor truck that was in a wreck, which supplied all the remaining sheet metal that I need, the wiring, and a complete interior. Once the donor truck was stripped down and the new truck was in one piece, I picked up a junkyard 6.2 liter Gen 4 LS and completely took it apart, gapped the rings, threw in a cam, and a few other new parts to prepare it for boost. I paired the 6.2 with a junkyard 4L80 and a 3/4 ton transfer case, but the last challenge has been the wiring. So we've changed a ton of things on this truck compared to how it was from the factory, and most of it is just moving wires around. And it's not necessarily challenging work, but it's extremely time consuming. I've been plugging away at it over the last 2 weeks and we're pretty much done. We have the harness relocated now, so instead of going straight across, we go underneath the booster. I still need to get the harness wrapped, and I'll put one bracket back here once we get the truck fired up and we confirm that everything works. But just that one mod right there is probably 40-ish wires that we have to modify. So that was a lot of work, but it's kind of ready. One more thing we have left to do on that, but we also got the transfer case harness installed from a 263 truck. We have the chassis harness installed. It's ran all the way back here to the fuel pump and the rear taillight section and things like that. I went ahead and added a tow strap mounting location / ground point. We got the fuel pump wired up, and we have our future fuel pump wires sitting right here ready to go for whenever we decide it's time to put in the big pump. So if I want to hear this thing run today, we have a couple of things left to do. There's one final wiring change that we need to make under the hood. We've got to mess around with the transmission for a little bit, pull the pan, change some wiring around there. We've got to add some fuel in it. We got to check for fuel leaks. And then finally, if all that goes according to plan, we're going to hit the key and we're going to hear some really cool noises. Did I say noises? So our 6.2 uses the later model Gen 4 87 millimeter throttle body. We want to run that. Bigger is better. The problem with this year of truck is that its drive-by-wire electronics don't work well with the aftermarket, or rather the newer throttle body. Typically what you see people do is go out and buy one of these. This is the Amazon knockoff version of an X-Link, but it uses some kind of, I don't know, something, resistors or black magic to make the signals work. Now, instead of using this, I bought it strictly for the harness. I swapped the tack module on the firewall to a early drive-by wire traction control module from, say, an 8.1 truck or a 99 to 02 SUV with traction control. So we swap the tack module, and then we're going to tie, there's 2 pairs of wires that we have to tie together for the 5-volt reference and for the low reference. So we're doing some wiring. I know I've mentioned it on more than one occasion, but I don't think I have clarified why I prefer crimp connectors over soldering. Now, soldering is fine. I've done it a ton, actually, but vibration, that's the one reason. And if you look in motorsports, high-end motorsports and aviation, they're not permitted to use solder for that very reason, because vibration over time can crack a solder joint and it could fail, where a proper crimp joint is generally considered to be superior, better lasting, things like that. Real quick, guys, I gotta remind you one last time, because this is your last shot, your last chance. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to, don't miss your chance to win the second gen Cyclone, because the sweepstakes closes tonight at midnight, the 21st of December. If you're watching this on the day the video goes live, that's it. Tonight it closes, and your odds honestly have been really, really good at winning, because not many people have entered to win this truck. I guess it's not everybody's favorite compared to the ugly truck, but that just means it's, well, either way, it's going to one of you guys. 5.3, it's got a nice cam in it, Harrop 2300 FDFI supercharger, full-time all-wheel drive system. It has a custom 3-link coilover rear suspension, custom exhaust. This is actually my favorite sounding truck that I've ever built. And when you combine the exhaust with the supercharger, it just, oh man, it's so much fun to drive. You're gonna love it, and you get to take it home before the end of the year. So if you haven't already, go over to tolmanperformance.com, grab some merch, and get entered to win, because right now we are in a 2x multiplier period. So every $5 that you spend gets you 2 entries into winning this really awesome truck. Read the official rules for detail. No purchase necessary. Of course, this is a fully bonded and insured and whatever sweepstakes. But before the end of the year, one of you is going to take this thing home. So don't miss out. Tonight at midnight, it closes.
All right, here's another 4L80 we had kicking around, a 2-wheel drive one. I need this bracket, which I think is correct for that truck. I'm going to pull the internal harness because that one is broken. And I'm going to swap these out because this little bracket for the speed sensor has a nice little hole here for a wire harness clip that I need. So we'll harvest the parts. See that hole right there? It's going to make organizing wires a lot easier. Did do a quick mock-up a second ago. This shift cable bracket will work. It'll hold it to the transmission, but this being from a different body style truck doesn't have quite the right spacing. I tried switching out the arm, and that combo doesn't seem to be quite right. So I'll just, at some point, I'll cut and modify this. I just have to slide this back a little bit. But that won't help us for getting the truck started as long as it's in park. So let me switch out these guys real quick just to, you kind of see where I have the harness temporarily routed. That'll give me a spot to permanently affix it once we, of course, have the harness wrapped. I'm so excited to get this thing fired up. This has been a long time coming. It's little details like this that make or break a build for me personally. Like just having stuff work and function and hold wires where they're supposed to. Like that's, to me, that's a very, very important thing. I was almost gonna cut and modify those old little hold down thingies to do this, but then I grabbed my spare transmission from the junkyard and realized it already has them. So huge time saver. It's going to hold the wires right there. It's going to be great. Ooh, there's the mess. This is why I was going to replace that harness, because all these little clips were busted off on the other one. Now the clips are busted on this one. Shoot. Got a new internal harness ordered. It'll be here in the morning along with a few other things. I did want to still swap this pan out because this one's a little more dented and has like a weird rubber plug in this corner. So we'll at least have the pans to swap, and then we'll put new harness and filter and gasket in the morning. Now this will also be a good opportunity to see what this transmission is like on the inside. It's out of the junkyard. I have no idea what shape it's in, but I'm hoping it's good enough to at least drive around for a little while, maybe hold a teeny tiny bit of power, but then of course we're going to build a proper one soon. Now, no matter what we find, we're going to run this thing. I'm just hoping there's no big chunks in the bottom. Well, looks like a little water. Well, at this point, we clean it out, close our eyes, and run it. But this is funny. Like, I don't know what it is, but clearly somebody jammed something up through here and used a rubber plug to plug it. So that's why we're gonna swap pans. It is the next day. We have our good pan cleaned up. This had a Torx drain plug. I swapped them. Now it has a hex one. I like that better. Have a new internal harness. So first thing, we will get that installed. We have a new filter and a new OEM gasket. I don't like the cork gaskets. I got one of those hard plastic / rubber ones. I need a new pair of scissors, I guess. But yeah, basically this connector, these little tabs, was broken on both of my harnesses. Well, I guess it's really not the end of the world that I got to put a new internal harness in here, because a lot of times these will leak oil anyway through the electrical part, not through the O-ring. So not a big deal. Good investment. Ugh. Oil, red marble. I don't know if you guys know how big of a moment this is. Putting gas in the tank. Oh, hold on. So this is the most nerve-wracking moment, because this will be the first time this truck and everything has had power to it, like, ever. The blue truck, the donor, we drove into the shop. I think it was early, I'll put it up on the screen. I think it was early 2023 or 24, but easily a year. Since any of this has had power going to it, we have a gazillion things mixed and matched. And I've taken precautions along the way, like I'm pretty sure everything will be fine, but putting power to this, yeah, it's a big moment, and it's nerve-wracking. Okay, so now before I turn the fuel pump on and check the pressure, set the pressure, I just want to do some basic stuff inside, like the seats. Do the seats work? Okay, that's good. We have lights. It'll only be the dash. Okay. Some bulbs burnt out. I'm gonna hit the throttle pedal. It did say reduced power, so I'll have to see what's up there. That's from a different truck, so that's locked. Okay. Just gonna bump the starter, see if... Okay, cool. Reduced power, I need to see what that's about. All right, I found a blown fuse. We're trying to diag why we can't communicate. So, hopefully that's why the OBD2 port was down. Which now that little light is on there, which tells me that should be receiving power. So now we should be able to connect. Basically, what I think I have come up with is the throttle body may be incorrect. That's why it's popping up that reduced engine power code. This mod that we did only works with certain Gen 4 throttle bodies. So we'll just check it out real quick. Chances are I may have to get a different one, but we'll find out in just a second. So if we come up with a P120 code or something that says out of range, that's probably the throttle body. Circuit. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but the throttle pedal is now working, which according to the write-up, if you clear the code and if it works, that probably means it is the throttle body itself out of range. So, all right, we're gonna press on. I'll figure out what to do about that throttle body issue. But for now, we're gonna see if we can run the pump and establish fuel pressure, fix any leaks. All right, found the first leak. So I found 2 leaks, both on the same hose. Tightened them, there it is, tightened them, can't seem to fix it. But one thing I noticed is that hose braid there is like a finer, tighter weave than that one there. Now, this is all from the same brand, but this hose, if I remember right, is a couple years older than this one, so maybe it's a little different design, and these are newer hose ends. So I'm just gonna rebuild this short feed. It goes from there to there with all of the new stuff, and hopefully that fixes it. It's probably just like, because I remember one had a brass ferrule, one had an aluminum ferrule, so I should have known better. Slight mismatch, but we'll get it squared away in a second. And it's a very subtle difference, but those are the 2 types of hoses. And those hose ends I purchased at the same time as I got this. I had that hose left over, so I thought I'd be smart and save a little bit of hose, but I think that's why they're leaking out of there. All right, we just replaced the hose, but if you come back here, you can see it is still dripping. No idea what's going on. Maybe the bulkhead fitting. This new hose didn't go together perfectly. The ferrule still felt weird. So I'm at least going to set our base fuel pressure here. There's a lot of turns on that. All right, I'm gonna go for 58 base. And we just saw another drip. So we'll reassess the fuel leak in a minute. This is a Dorman throttle body. Love them or hate them. This is one that was called out specifically on that online write-up. Called out to work doing the mod with the early TAC module and the wiring here. So what we're gonna do, I'll put the camera down, plug it in, and go see if it works. So before it popped up reduced engine power right away. So we'll key on. Brake booster, okay. So we'll zoom in. Okay, so we are in the clear, I believe. Thumbs up. So we'll just swap this guy out real quick. Okay, this one measures just under 86 millimeter. I think they call it an 87. 90 millimeters. Cool. It's a good thing I left this harness a little long. So, after a 3-year project, it is time. Need some oil in the engine, a little oil in the transmission. I pulled the belt off just because I don't have coolant in it yet. I don't have power steering fluid. So I just literally want to fire it up and hear it make noise. Despite the fuel leak. We'll fix that later. I'm going to take out my little fuel pump jumper harness that I use just to bleed it. Put the relay back in. We're going to try to fire it up. Now, no coolant, no power steering fluid, no serpentine belt. I just want to start it up and hear it run. It's even on the stock tune, like I haven't changed anything at all. So, let's see what happens. Most important thing we're watching for is oil pressure. That was quick. It runs.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
That is easy to fix.
Yeah, it's that stupid fuel line. Like that new stuff, the ferrule is like super loose over the Teflon sleeve. So I need to try a different brand or something, I don't know. So one thing I can do now that I have power to the truck, I need to move this seat ahead and swap out the airbag module just because that module came from the same truck as all the brains for the basically everything now. So we'll get that swapped out real quick. And of course, we can't forget the most important step, cleaning out the junk. You might not be able to tell by my reaction, or lack thereof, but I'm actually really excited that we got this thing fired up because it confirmed a bunch of stuff and it checked it off the list for good, and then of course it raised a few more questions or things that we'll need to address, but it runs. We checked off the goal, we made it happen, it's running before the end of the year, and we're gonna keep going, and hopefully, I don't know if I'll be able to drive it before the end of the year because there is a lot left to do, but we'll drive it before you know. So the engine, the Junkyard 6.2 that we completely rebuilt, it runs great. As soon as we hit the key, it fired up. No oil leaks or no funny noises, so everything's great there. Transmission, we pulled the pan. I was happy not to find a whole lot of metal particulates in there. It looked like there's a little water, but we'll flush some fluid through the transmission. Again, this is phase one of the drivetrain. Eventually, it's going to have a built engine and a built transmission, but for now, it runs. On the inside, we did discover a few things, mainly like error messages on the dash, which we're going to have to correct. A big one, for example, is with the four-wheel drive system. I swapped from a 246 to a 263 transfer case, and it already has the right harness, the right buttons, and all that, but
I need to either get the stock TCCM programmed or swap it out with the junkyard one. But I think I want to try to program it because there's also some other stuff that I want to get programmed in the truck. For example, the body control module, I want to let it know that we have hydro boost instead of vacuum boost brakes. That would kill one of the error messages potentially on the dashboard. And that's just one of those things that, do you have to have those things corrected to drive the truck? No, but it makes me happy. We found a few things on the heater also that I need to fix, like probably just need to swap out some of those blend door motors so it can point the air where you want it, stuff like that. And I know you guys probably think I'm crazy for trying to build a fast, full-weight street truck with all these creature comforts. Like, I made a comment in a video a year ago about wanting that little rear view mirror with a number for the outside temperature. Like, that stuff makes me happy. And yes, I know having a full-weight truck is going to slow it down, but it's also going to have a twin-turbo, fully built motor. I don't know what we're going to do yet, whether it's a 408, a 427, a 440, something big, something powerful, something spicy. I want this truck, when it's all said and done, to be a low 9-second or high 8-second street truck. And I think we can do it. In fact, I'm confident we can do it. We just need to have a stout enough drivetrain and a powerful enough engine and enough time and money, of course. That's, I guess, what it all comes down to. But thank you guys for watching. Huge relief. We got the truck fired up. Don't forget to get entered to win the 2nd Gen Cyclone. If you're watching this video today, the 21st of December, this is your last chance. The sweepstakes closes at midnight, and we are in a 2x multiplier period, which means every $5 that you spend at TolmanPerformance.com is going to get you 2 entries to take home the 2nd Gen Cyclone. It's supercharged, it's all-wheel drive, it's V8 swapped, has a custom 3-link rear suspension, full custom exhaust, it sounds awesome, it drives awesome, and you can take it home before the end of the year. So, that's what I'm up to, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go do some more wiring or something right now, but it runs. Woo!